Do you know these 10 facts about Asian civilization? What if I told you that Lingulini was actually evil? Wait, hold up, Pep. Didn't you say that he was a hero? Lingulini was kind of a hero. Turns out, there's more to the story of the so-called hero of Island 1 who stood up to Sinico.
And we will open mining to anybody who wants to mine.
You see, Infernus owned the volcano and all the netherite underneath it. So Lingulini comes up with this little proposal.
Hello, I have a proposition to make. Mafia would like to have an official role as the sole miners for Infernus.
They offered to mine for us, and then they just didn't report back on like the netherite or any of the minerals they found. We basically got scammed.
Lingulini first scams Infernus, and to make it even worse, he goes to announce he's sharing Infernus's mine with all of Island 1.
And we will open mining to anybody who wants to mine. I said it was for the good of Island 1, but really, I just wanted to keep the netherite, you know.
So, maybe I owe an apology to Infernus. I still love Lingulini though. Okay, before the infamous Infernus Lingulini beef, one of the first deaths of the entire event wasn't just anyone. It was Spood.
So I'm like one of the very first deaths in the actual event technically, because the moment I loaded in like on a polar bear, like fully just like in the same block. I spawned in, it was so laggy, and the next thing I knew I was out of the event, and I was like, well, I guess that's it then.
I wonder how Knight of Taurus feels about this. Before starvation, assassination attempts, boiling water, all of that, Spood had to wrestle with a polar bear. Luckily, the staff had what I like to call the mercy program. You know, for people unfairly destroyed by nature.
There were some serious server issues on day one, so we let in a lot of people back.
Were you killed? Sadly, yes. But I lived.
And he ended up becoming one of the biggest names ever in Civilization. Speaking of big names, have you ever wondered why the same players don't dominate every ish event? Like, how come A freaking Turkey, the guy who literally led a world revolution, is now running a cheese shop? I mean, still a cool character, but what happened? Well, that's because of the repeat rule.
We had implemented a rule called the repeat rule, which is if you were like a major character or leader in a previous video, you weren't allowed to actively try to become a major character or leader in the next video, because it makes it a little easier for new players to try and build their followers or their nations more naturally.
Right.
Because if we don't have that rule, then it's typically just going to be the same people who recruit the most amount of followers every single video.
And yeah, this is the rule people thought Saps broke.
Everyone was like furious at him, like, meta gamer.
Yeah.
Everyone was hating on me. They thought I broke the rule. They were like, this apps guy just went against the one thing he was supposed to not do. Are you kidding me?
You see, Saps was the leader of a big nation in the last video.
Democratic nation on the other side of the island. This was Theria, the name derived from the Greek word for freedom. I asked their elected president, Saps, about the Sultanate.
So when players saw him supposedly kill 5 world leaders, they got confused.
That was one of the main factors why I just didn't let Saps in on the first time he came. I was like, oh, it's just this guy's trying to get in the video again. Nah, get out of here.
Poor Saps. Speaking of confusion, nothing was more confusing than the Big Island 1 meeting.
Will you open up rights to mining underneath the volcano?
It is still our land.
Everyone's trying to act serious and Seneca's giving a speech. And in the middle of all that, Lingulini Mafia just starts meowing. Not once, not twice, like 10 times.
Started like hearing like the 10th meow through a speech that was Seneca was talking. They started meowing and I was like, okay, now they just need to die.
So yes, if you were wondering why Benji, a peace-loving leader, signed off on murdering an entire nation, this is why.
I couldn't control my members. I'm sorry for nothing.
And then what happens? If you thought meowing was funny, the Mafia made an even worse mistake that got them wiped out. After escaping to Island 2, Lingulini thought his Mafia was safe.
When I escaped to Island 2, nobody knew where I was.
But then, one Covenant player sends one of the Mafia a message saying,
Hey, I'm a new and I joined late. Can you tell me your coordinates?
And guess what? In the middle of a secret escape, this poor guy replies,
Sure, here's our coordinates. Come on over.
Oh! They're killing the entire Mafia.
Another one down, baby.
Oh my god.
Yep, that's how an entire generation of Mafia got wiped out. You know, after seeing all these chaos, you might be wondering, who even gets accepted to these events? Turns out, not just anyone. There's a whole application process to find people willing to focus on the story.
Big credit to our applications team for really being able to successfully sift out people wanting to win the event or PvP and kill everyone else.
If the pitch is, I want to win and kill everyone, it's filtered out.
Fortunately, the vast majority of people who get accepted to these events, they have the story first in mind, roleplay, and of course we also have some rules in place. Obviously, we don't let people go RDM.
RDM means random deathmatch, basically killing people for no reason. Because random violence might be fun for 5 minutes, but a 2-hour movie of people grinding for gear and murdering? Not so much. And speaking of violence, let's talk about the perfect assassination of Joe Field.
What are you doing?
Well, it wasn't supposed to happen that way.
We intended to kill her just a little bit later down the line.
During the meeting?
During the meeting, yes. And it wasn't actually meant to be Seraphim. Seraphim mistook a different backup plan. So the original idea was for Seraphim to take over from Jofield because, of course, Seraphim was second in command of Tricolor.
Right.
He wanted control of Tricolor. Seems like a pretty good thing to have.
Yeah, the plan was actually even more calculated. Classic Flux. Flux could have gained total control over Tricolor from the shadows. But because of a miscommunication, their backup plan got triggered instead, and Seraphim ended up being on the run, doing all the dirty work for Flux. But I gotta say, Seraphim did such a good job. That's the magic of Ish Civilization. Mistakes can create whole new stories. And stories that feel real, that's no accident here. Ish literally designs the world, so it plays out more like a civilization and less like a Minecraft Hunger game. You see, in older events, there used to be hostile mobs like zombies and creepers. But over time, Ish decided to remove them completely.
I had hostile mobs for a lot of my videos, and we've kind of been cutting down, not because of lag, but actually because of realism. I disable a lot of items like ender pearls as well, which just lets you teleport to a random place that you throw it. I try to turn Minecraft into a more like realistic setting.
The idea was to keep it simple. No random creeper explosions, no ender pearl TPs.
For example, in our next event, we're getting rid of a lot of like PvP based items to really reduce the amount of people who are just grinding for those items and using them for PvP.
Right.
So that people actually focus on the roleplay. And also people who don't know how to PvP have more of a chance. So
yeah, of course.
Yeah, we do remove hostile mobs. Same philosophy, not because of lag, but because we want to reduce the amount of people who are dying randomly like zombies and creepers.
Because when you remove the chaos that doesn't mean anything, you make room for chaos that does. And speaking of player-made chaos, let's talk about Sap's escape. After the trial, Saps was supposed to die. He was literally surrounded, waiting for execution. But somehow he pulls off the impossible. But do you know the full story?
After you got in the boat, after the trial, I think that chase went on for like friggin' 30 to 40 minutes or something. Like there was like 3 people following you.
There was an hour left in the session after I actually got out of the trial.
Oh my god.
And then I think I boated with like 3 or 4 people behind me for like 40 minutes.
Damn, 40 minutes of rowing for your life. Now I even have more respect for Saps. What if I told you that Rich and Poor almost didn't exist? Originally, the event was going to be warm versus cold islands. There was an entire map drawn out.
So this is very similar to what Island 2 was going to be, except for the warm and cold concept, this was going to be the northern island, and the top here, the B island, was going to be all snow. This is going to be the cold island. A in the center was going to be like half snow, half plains, cold plains, and then the bottom was going to be like more so plains, regular grass, except still kind of cold-ish. And then the other island was gonna be the warm island. D over here is just a whole freaking dense jungle. In the middle was gonna be the volcano, and E was gonna be the desert, and then F was just gonna be like a badlands.
But just a few weeks before launch, one of Ish's admins, Windowbrick, pitched a new idea.
But last minute, one of my admins, Windowbrick, shout out Windowbrick, came up with the idea of Rich and Poor, and I'm like, yeah, like instantly my mind clicked, like, yeah, that's so much better.
Yeah.
So we immediately switched to that concept like a few weeks before the event.
And the rest is history. So that's 10 facts, and I've got way more coming. What surprised you the most? And what video should I make next? I read every comment, so let me know down there. And yes, my Perch POV is on the way, so stay tuned.